Yeah. How far can you take the peace of Jesus Christ? Well, let's take a look into this book called The Martyr's Mirror, a collection of stories that can draw you nearer, closer to the glory of the Prince of Peace, having war ceased from Italy to the Middle East to Philly streets. It's really deep. Jesus keeps his peace meek, yet he keeps us strong. The word he speaks is born. He'll never leave us nor forsake us. He'll take us in his arms and he'll lead us on. His peace will keep us calm. So come along as we journey in honor of the many men and women empowered by the power of God's love. It got to be a part of us. If we're called as followers, this love should be synonymous with our lives, not just our lips. It's time to get fanatical with this gift that God gives. If this love is in you, you would do what Dirk did. Dirk Williams, that is, a true servant who works his faith out by putting his life on the line. What was Dirk thinking? It was Christ on his mind. What was Dirk drinking? A special kind of wine, instrumental for the mental, giving sight to the blind, a living light that shines bright like the sunshine. Man, if I can just sum this up in just one rhyme. But anyway, let's get back to Dirk Williams, a Christian in prison for the faith that he was living. Facing persecution, this man was willing to extend a helping hand to the man pursuing him to do him in, so those rulers can ruin him. Cause he was an Anabaptist who was walking in unison with the person of Christ, immersed in his life. Obeying his sermon is what turned him to a furnace of light. Those merciless magistrates, full of malice and hate, murdered the servant Dirk by burning him at the stake. A lingering death, he suffered at a slow pace. His faith was steadfast, his soul was shown grace in the hands of God. He commended his whole faith. A showcase of this faith is what makes the story great, but the object of the faith makes the story better. So all praise and honor goes to the Creator, Jesus Christ, the Prince of Peace. Check it out. All praise, all glory to the Prince of Peace. All these stories are testimonies of what peace can reach. Without his fingerprints in each story wouldn't teach such remarkable faith in the face of evil beasts. Historically, his story is his story. God gets all the glory. You should just ignore me and strictly get in awe with the sovereign God who's calling all of y'all to have you all involved in his purpose and plan for this revolving ball. You should worship this Lamb. He's such a flawless God. Take a permanent stand. You won't fall real hard. Take it personal and take the gospel far. Let's continue with this next verse. Let us converse with the past. Let us grasp what we can learn from these excerpts. Historical records are not just for the experts. They're there for those who want to learn without lectures. Now let's search scriptures. Let us remember that we're members of the urban church, serving like the servant Dirk. Thermostats on the map instead of thermometers, regulating its temperature instead of changed by her common errs. I'm kind of irked by the lack of servanthood. We need to practice what we say and not just word it good. We should be working the hood, like my man Tom Skinner, who was a gangster, but thanks to Christ, Tom was made a winner. He went from the Harlem Lords to the Sovereign Lord. Tom Skinner was a peacemaker, stopping war, stopping pause. Let's think about some other martyrs, sons and daughters who were slaughtered like lambs on an altar. We ought to be salt and light, walking with Christ. We need to act accordingly and not just talk real nice. Be like Margaretha and Michael, true disciples, brutally executed by self-righteous cycles. Michael's tongue was sliced off. It wasn't nice, y'all. Parts of his body was twice torn by hot tongues. And what about his wife? This woman was not soft. She was later bound and tossed in the river. And what for? For believing in Jesus, for obeying his teachings, for seeking to please him. Those were the reasons. Even if they were heathens, is this how we treat them, or do we lead them to Jesus by repeating Ephesians 6:10 through 17? By any means, put on the armor of God and give praise to Elohim. Give praise to Elohim, the Prince of Peace, y'all. In conclusion, let us all turn our attention to a numerous amounts of men and women unmentioned, to the many heat takers and the many peacemakers, to those who took heed of being Jesus imitators, like Khalifa and Kiros, Ethiopian heroes, two leaders of a church known as the Misery Christos, meaning Christ the foundation, Christ the solid rock, the socket that connects us to the power of God. He's the potter, you're not. Every hour you got is under total control, keeping your mindset locked, reproducing mental Simons, even out of hip-hop. As the clock goes tick-tock, God is never gonna stop giving us lots of guts like Felix Mons and Hans Hut. Life minus Christ sucks, there's no success. Without Jesus, life is just a bunch of meaningless, like a sniper aiming at nothing and always hitting it. Are you getting it? If not, then peep Elizabeth Dirks. Just listen to her story and get what this worth. As in heaven, do the Father's will on this earth. Give him reverence, thank him for the spiritual rebirth. It can be done in Jesus Christ. The way of peace, y'all, it's the way of the Lord.